right. Welcome to the Patriot Hour for Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. Folks, lots going on. Today, me and Woodman got a show out earlier this morning, if you happen to catch that. And then we got the cards. Awesome. So we got some just business cards to be able to hand out down in Virginia. We are all set to go. We got Scott for sure. It looks like Scott, Woodman, Jaws, myself, 4 of us. Thank you guys all so much for everything. You are true patriots. And we're going to bring you some great footage. Other than that, I am going through Twitter. By the way, we take off Sunday. Make sure you're subscribed here to the channel for all the live feeds. And again, here at the Patriot Hour, we encourage you to think for yourself, do all your own research, connect all your own dots, listen to everybody you can, read everything you want, but believe none of it until you can verify it in your own right, in your own way. You're going to read a lot of stuff that doesn't pertain, things that just you come across that aren't true. We never try to lie to you here. We always try to bring you the truth. And, there are just some things happening. All right, so let's take a look over here at the Twitter feed. Got the new wall coming in, all right? So our president, real Donald Trump, watch 100 miles and going. I mean, this is a little clip it video here. They got 16 seconds. But the reason we're over here on Twitter is came across this. Inevitable ET, all right? He's got great posts that he posts sometimes. If you haven't, get over here and follow, all right? Create a Twitter. I've said this before. The only reason I'm here is to follow Trump, follow others around Trump, people in the movement, and then others, all right? I like to watch Adam Schiff. I got Pelosi. I got Kumo. I got them all. It's a great time. It really is. It can drive you nuts. But so over here, Inevitable ET, Inevitable _ ET, all right? At Inevitable _ ET. After I post this, I might just sit back and read it all day long. This is so epic, so epic. Anon translated leak cabal doc from 1985 from French to English, an old English or old French periodical called Miramis d'Aram, Volume 7. This may very well be the find of all finds. He's got the Keck here. Oh, pulling his eyes down his face. All right, let's jump into these here. Make these All right, so here we go. So I found something that might be related to the infamous Keystone. So we've been talking about the Keystone. Q's talked about it. What is it? But that is extremely interesting in its own right. It is something that I have seen in partial from before, but in fact lacking the part with the Keystone. It is a text written by French Canadian in 1995 called Sergei Monostat. It is supposed to be leaked plans the cabal put together on 2 separate occasions, one from 1967 and again in 1985. There are some details in it that sounds too good to be true, such as the name of the group, but symbolism will be their downfall, and all of that stuff, right? So, however, this text describes what we have been throughout the past decades so well that it's scary. It is even more scary once you read what is supposed to be their ultimate goal. Okay, so keystones are mentioned twice, but it's the second instant that seems relevant. In the summary, the text says that the keystone for the cabal is an establishment of the worldwide interconnected network of computers. To them, this is a vast surveillance network that always does as it's told, that has no political opinion, no religion, no race, doesn't get tired, doesn't want to eat, doesn't talk back, doesn't tell them no. To them, it replaces parts of their vast networks of humans, and it allows them for a level of surveillance they could not have ever dreamed of before. To them, their plan could not be accomplished without it. To quote them, they are the keystones of the new world order. That seems rather congruent with some of the Q posts related to that topic, saying what holds everything together. The Keystone software implant, the surveillance network of the intelligence agencies, POTUS having opened the door of all doors, maybe the doors of the massive surveillance machine put in place by the cabal that he can now use to take them down. Now, we've said this all along, that all this stuff used and built by them to do the bad things would be used to sweep them up, to take them down, and then all shut down after you use everything that they created to bring their own 9/11 to them, basically. It's epic, if so. So as I say this could be the Keystone, or it could not be. However, it's really interesting in its own right, as it resonates so much with the reality of what has happened. And if it is true, that's not a 40,000 foot view, that's a 4 million foot view. So Sergei Monasat died of a sudden heart attack shortly after publishing this. Heart attacks can be deadly. As I said, I have seen the partially translated elsewhere, but I gathered my courage and translated the whole document from French. The strange capitalization comes from the original text. I tried to respect it. Apologies if there are spelling and grammar mistakes. It is very, very long, and I do not have the time to proofread it at the moment. Actual text and subsequent post. We're going to go through some of this here, and then again, I'm going to try to get through it here. Whoops. All right. So late June of 67 in Montreal, there's a 67 Expo in Ottawa. The last preparations of the 100th anniversary of the Confederation are taking place. In the U.S., we see the Constitution movements against the Vietnam War, the contestation movements against the Vietnam War, and they're throughout the country, the Flower Power. We are close to May 68 events in France, to the nationalism explosion in Quebec, the Woodstock Festival in the U.S., but at the same time, this end of June of 67 is marked with the last preparations towards the development of the plan for the fall of the nations, carried out by the high instances of the Anglo-Saxon Freemasonry in Toronto, Canada. Now, this secret meeting, highly confidential, isn't organized by the 666. That is a term for them they use for themselves. That is, those direct the 6 largest banks of the world, the 6 largest energy, to which petroleum belongs, and the 5 largest food industry consortiums to which control of the main food roadways of the world belongings. So these 666 being the highest heads of the international finance will define with their meaning a common strategy with the view to absolutely control on world commerce, on the possession of energetic weapons, gateway to the 21st century, and on the international control of the food industry, which encompasses as well for them the pharmaceutical commodities, encompassing themselves in the worldwide markets of vitamins and vaccines. Their plan consists in 3 major directions: the economical, political, and social. For the 70s and 80s, if they succeed, it must immediately end up with a seizure of the world power through an establishment of the New World Order, the very same the American President George Bush will so much promote at the beginning of the 90s, beginning of the 666 document, date late June 1967. So, of the Bread and Circus Games, title, goal of the project, genocide of what is vital to the benefit of the profitable of the occult. Funding means, among others, use of humanitarian aid and international food to aid to finance the 666 multinationals. All the historical periods having led to the decadence of the civilizations were marked without exception by the spirit of the wandering men. Today we must make it so that his spirit translates into world leisurely society. In all its forms, this leisure must be composed or comprised of sex, drugs, sports, travel, ecstasyism, exoticism, so and leisures in general, but accessible to all layers of society. Man must reach the belief that he is modern, and that his modernity comprises his ability and his opportunity to enjoy widely and now everything that surrounds him. To reach this goal, it is imperative to be able to infiltrate the media, radio, television, newspapers, the worlds of fashion and culture, the world of new music, through which we influence certainly all the layers of Western societies. This way, by keeping it to our will senses of the youth, the adults of tomorrow, we will have the free reign to infiltrate and transform in depth with interference into the political, the judiciary, the education, which will allow us to modify the depth and course, the course, the future orientation of societies targeted by the plan. Populations, we know it, have no historical memory. They tirelessly repeat the mistakes of the past without realizing that they're the same mistakes had leads their father before them to the same forfeitures they will live through in a worse way before the end of the century. See, for the instance, what their grandfathers lived through at the beginning of the century through the hard work of our predecessors. Having gone through without limits the liberation of their ways of life, the abolition of morals, in other words, the wandering of the spirit, they experienced the economical crisis, and then the war. Today, the grandchildren and their children are heading straight towards a similar outcome, worse even at this time. It'll allow us to finally establish our new world order without having any of them to be able to realize it. Too preoccupied they will be by the exaggerated satisfaction of the needs of their most primary senses that they've horned in on. Me adding that. A general norm of the utmost importance, and that has already proved itself at the beginning of this current century in the building and the establishment of the communist system by the late high officers of our lodges, is the profitability of the exception. In the principle, we know it. The exception proves the general rule that is opposite. But in our vocabulary, the exception is what must be imposed on everyone. So understanding this, our goal is not to protect our children or anything else, but to cause the burst and then the collapse of the nations that have been a major obstacle to the establishment of our new world order. This is a reason why the Child Protection Services must be provided an absolute legal authority. They must be able to, as see fit, but always under the presence of child protection, to subtract them to their original family environment and place them in a foreign family environment or in a governmental centers already committed to our globalist and non-religious principles. Consequently, the final breakup of the Western family unit, because without the protection and the surveillance of their original parents, it'll be possible to definitely handicap those children in their psychological and moral development, and constitute, as a natural consequence, praise easily moderable to our globalist aims. To ensure the success in such undertaking, it is essential that the public servants working in these state services be young, without prior experience, and bottled with theories we know to be empty and without efficiency. And above all, and observed by the missionary spirit of the great protectors of children under threat, because for them, all parents must be viewed as potential criminals and potential dangers to well-being of the children, therefore to considered as being a god. Child Protection Services and a Bill of Children's Rights have no reason to exist without children under threat. Moreover, the exceptions and the historical examples used to establishment would sooner or later disappear if they were not consistently provided with new cases occurring on a continual basis. In that sense, we must infiltrate the education system of the nations to make it disappear under the pretense of modernity and evolution and the teachings of religion, history, property, or proprietary, while at the same time diluting it with the avalanche of new experimentation in education, that of a language and of mathematics. Talking about Common Core here. There is a lot here. but we'll get through them. Okay, we're going to pick up here. So while let me see, as you know, the basic structure of the New World Order is composed, in a sense, it is a multitude of varied networks covering the spheres of human activity in the full extent of the planet. Up to this day, all these networks were linked together by a common ideological basis, that of man being I can't make these bigger and it's really small without downloading them and stuff right now at this minute, folks, so bear with me. I'm having a hard time seeing myself. Activity. You guys aren't even getting the full thing on your page because I got you cut off. See here? Yeah, there's nothing I can do. So this way, thanks to all these networks united together by the link of the new religion, man for man, we have easily been able to infiltrate all human sectors in the Western countries to modify its Judeo-Christian basis. The result today is that man, whatever he belongs to, the political, the economy, the social, the education, the sciences, or the religion, has already, since our last meeting at the end of June of '67, surrendered his heritage from the past to replace it by our ideal of a worldwide religion solely based on the man. Cut in this way, as he now is from his historical roots, this man now only waits, in the end, that is offered to him a new ideology. This one, of course, brings ours to the ideology of global community village instead of this local, all right? And this is precisely what will bring him into encourage him into partake into the body and soul of this worldwide electronic network, where the borders between nations will have been forever abolished, annihilated, up to their deepest roots. While this ashtray man will be consumed by his blind enthusiasm in belonging to his new worldwide community by joining the computer network, for our benefit, we will, using the higher levers that will be hidden from him, make a file on him, identify him, measuring him, and making him profitable with respect to our own objectives. Because inside the New World or global society, no individual presenting a potential for profitability to us will be able to escape us. The constant input from the electronic technology should provide us all with the means necessary to make a file on, to identify and control all individuals in the Western populations. Regarding all those that will not present an exploitable profitability to us, we will make it so that they eliminate themselves through local internet wars that will have taken care to the forefront here and there by using the economic fall of the nation states. All right, this is really translated, I guess, kind of poorly. Words are rough. All right, so here's a detailed plan through which we will proceed up until 1998 to pave the road to our birth worldwide government. Multiple, many times over, the leisure society that has been so profitable to us to this day by using the video intervention that we have financed and the games that are attached to it, let us end corruption, let us end corrupting the morals of the youth. Let us offer him possibility of satisfying here and now all his instincts. Being disposed of his senses and a slave to them, we know it, has either an ideal nor the internal force to defend anything. He is an individualist by nature. He represents a perfect candidate that we can model easily to our desires and priorities. Talking about brainwashing people playing video games to the fullest delusionment. Encourage the student protest. Let us fill interior emptiness of that youth by initiating it at another level. I mean, this is just sick shit. This is how they work. This is how they roll. To ensure all costs of success of an undertaking, let us make sure the agents have already infiltrated the cabinets of intergovernmental affairs. They're all in there. These people that don't want the things that we want is because they're there for an agenda reason. We're going to get you in there, and you're not going to go for the border thing. You're not going to go for, global economy. All right, that's like Agenda 21 stuff and just New World Order in general. Again, this link will be down below, right to the, I'm just looking, highlighting here, 12, transfers foreign countries, multinationalist, emergency budgetary measures. Link to the PDF. There it is. Interesting. I'm going to leave the link down below for you guys. We're at the 20-minute mark. Again, just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, see what you can find. I'm going to read this a few times over. It is, like he said, been translated. Words are rough. Certain words aren't spelled correctly, or just not, in the English language anyway. And he tried to stay true to, like he said, some of the words are capitalized to pay homage. All right, we're going to shut this one down. We're at the 22-minute mark. Again, look for some more videos. We're going to be going live tomorrow. I think we're going to do a call-in show again, straight up. We're going to merge into one of these nights. We're going to have a straight 1 hour long call-in show the whole time. It's something we came up with today talking. So, all right, we'll see you back here on the next video. You guys have a great evening, and God bless. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your evening.